Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. Today we have another lesson in Mega Goal 6. Today our lesson is self-reflection, which is the last lesson in this unit. But before we start it, let's take a quick overview of the previous lesson. In the previous lesson, we started with talking about the title of this unit, which is Lost and Found. And we are used to, in each unit, to have lessons, reading lessons, essays, writing some essays, listening to conversations and discussions about topics that revolves around the theme, or let's say the topic of the unit. For example, in this unit, Lost and Found, we've read some essays, we wrote some narrative essays or personal narrative essays. We've also listened to some discussions, conversations, and listening materials regarding items that were lost, then people found, and also we've listened to something about lucky people who were lucky enough to find treasures and so on. In the previous lesson, we had the 11th part of this unit, which is form, meaning, and function. In form, meaning, and function lessons, we try to integrate vocabulary with grammar. We learn a new structure, we learn a way of building a sentence, then we try to give some examples to make sure that we have understood what we have listened or what we have studied. In the previous lesson, we focused on more than one thing. We started talking about the imaginary situations for the past, and we said that we use the F clause to talk about something that didn't happen in the past. Why? To express regret or criticism. And the past perfect is used in the F clause. For example, this is the F clause. If Howard Carter hadn't persuaded his friend. So we used the past perfect. This is a past perfect verb. After that, we had an exercise with 3 sentences that where you were asked to rewrite the situations using hypothetical F clause for the present and the past. And after that, you can compare your ideas with your partner, and then we've shown the answers of each one of the examples together. After that, we move to the second part, which is about the as if or as though. We said that we use as if and as though to talk about unreal situations. For example, we have here, he talks as if he were an expert in the field. We ask ourselves a question. Is he an expert? No, he is not. But he speaks or he talks as if he were an expert. Okay? So we're talking about something that is unreal. Or, for example, they act as though they hadn't cheated on the test. They had cheated on the test, but they act as though or as if they hadn't cheated on the test. After that, we have here another expression, which is it's high time or it's about time. We use them to talk about unreal situations where we try to express criticism that something should have happened or should have already have been done. For example, it's high time you found a job and earned a wage. He doesn't have a job and he doesn't earn a wage. So we say it's high time you found a job and earned a wage. That means you should have found yourself a job and you started earning a wage. Then after that, we went to this exercise where we had the chance to practice each one of these expressions. It's high time or it's about time, as though, as if. The first example is Terry Herbert wasn't dreaming when he found 11 pounds of gold. We have here 3 words in brackets. We were asked to use these words to rewrite the sentence. So we will rewrite the sentence by using these 3 words. Terry Herbert felt as though he were dreaming when he found 11 pounds of gold. Number 2, we aren't rich, spending money as though. So we are not rich, but we want to use these 2 expressions, or we will rewrite the sentence by using these 2 words. We say we are spending money as though we were rich. So we are not rich, but we are spending money as though we were rich. Number 2, you should stop gossiping. So this is the thing that we are criticizing, okay? And we said that if we want to criticize something, we can use it's high time. So we say it's high time you stopped gossiping. Number 4, you didn't see something scary. Look as if. We say you look as if you had seen something scary. Number 5, Adil isn't an old man, but he walks as though he were an old man. Number 6, you don't own this house, but he is behaving as if or as though if you owned this house. Number 7, he didn't take lessons in public speaking, but he speaks as if he had taken lessons in public speaking. Number 8, Faris needs this job, but he's talking as though he didn't need the job. Number 9, my brother ought to take better care of himself. It's about time my brother took better care of himself. And the last one, she started the rumor, but she pretends as though she didn't start the rumor. After that, we have here a list of words. What are these list of words? They are words connected with historical monuments. If you are interested on the monuments or in history in general or in archaeological areas or let's say ancient places or historical areas, you are more likely going to use these words. So we are going to read these words together and try to know how to pronounce each one of them. The first one, ancient, ethnographic, exquisite, extraordinary, priceless, breathtaking, legendary, tomb, exhibit, artifacts, lost treasures, museum, art gallery, monuments, archaeologists, historians, Egyptologists, king, queen, pharaoh, discover, preserve, photograph, record, search, exhibit, and reveal. All these words are used usually in the historical monuments. After that, we've had an exercise where we practiced and used the previous words, or we put the previous words in the blanks. On the left side, we have Jeddah Regional Museum of Archaeology and Ethnography. And on the left side, the Egyptian Museum of Antiquities in Cairo. And the answers, or the correct answers for the gaps, are as shown here on the board. You can take some time looking at the board, try to correct the mistakes if you have some. And now let's go to the last part of this lesson, which is going to be about the inversions. We use the inversions to show emphasis. To show what? To show emphasis. If you want to emphasize on something, we use the inversions. Or the inversions are one of the ways of showing emphasis. In this sentence, or in the inversions, we write the sentence in a different way. We start the sentence, or we put the auxiliary verb before the subject. the subject. What are the auxiliary verbs? Auxiliary verb like do, does and did, have, had and has, can, could, shall, should, and so on. All these are called auxiliary verbs or auxiliaries. Usually, the auxiliary or the auxiliaries come after the subject. For example, we usually say I have, or she has, or they didn't go, okay, or he can. Usually, the auxiliary come after the subject, but in the inversions, the auxiliary come before the subject. It comes before the subject. We will start with the first sentence. Not only did they, okay, it's not a question, it's an inversion. We don't say not only they did, we say not only did they find exquisite paintings, but they also found furniture when they opened up the tomb. Number 2, no sooner had they decided to give up than they saw a sealed door leading to the tomb. Little did they know that they would find some steps buried under an ancient hut. Not until I heard their story did I understand the hardship they must have suffered. On no account or under no circumstances should they give up the search. Seldom have I been so lost for words. Never have I seen something so remarkable. And after that, we had this exercise where we rewrote each sentence using the inversions together. Today we have the last part in this unit, which is lesson number 13. It is called self-reflection. So it is something you can do by your own. Self-reflection. What does it mean? If someone say, I want to reflect upon something, what does that mean? It means that you stop after doing something, you stop, you ask yourself questions, you try to think and rethink about what you have done, what you have learned, what was difficult, what wasn't difficult, what did you like the most, what was something that you didn't like, okay? This way of thinking is called a reflection. So in this part, we will do some self-reflection. We will try to go through what we have studied in this unit. We will ask ourselves some questions. We will try to understand what are the difficulties we have faced so we can work harder in the next times and try to make them easier for ourselves. We will also think about the vocabularies or the words that we like the most, the words that we think they are the most beneficial for us more than the other new vocabulary. Now let's go to the first chart. In this chart, we have two columns. Things that I liked about Unit 6, things that I didn't like very much. For example, you can now pick up your pen, start thinking. What are the things that you liked about Unit 6? Personally, I liked the stories about the lucky people who were lucky enough to find treasures and how they find all these treasures by accident. This is a part I really liked in this unit. Okay, now let's talk about you. What are the things that you liked the most in this unit? And how about the things that you didn't like very much? Okay, so think about that. You can write them down. Always feel free to pause the video, write down whatever in your mind, then after that resume and go back to continue with us. Then we have things I found easy in Unit 6 and things that I found difficult in Unit 6. For example, you can say that I found the listening materials very easy on this unit. The conversation was easy, and also all the phrases, all expressions and new words that were written in bold or written in blue in the conversation were easy, and you liked them and you started using them. That means you found them easy and beneficial. How about the things that you found difficult? For example, you can say, or anything, you can write down anything that you faced some difficulties with. For example, you can say, the inversions wasn't easy for me because I'm taking it or I'm learning it for the first time. So I need more time to process the inversions and understand it profoundly. Then after that, we have Unit 6 checklist. In this chart, we have a checklist, and then we have 3 columns. I can do this very well. I can do this quite well. I need to study or practice more. That means you are here 100% sure about what you know. Or let's say you are from 95 to 100%. But here you are from 75 to 90. While here you are less than 70%. Let's start with the first part in this checklist. The first criteria is conduct an interview. Can you conduct an interview? This is a question for you. I can't answer this question. And there are absolutely no right and wrong answers. This is where you put yourself. Do you think you can do this very well? You can do it without facing any problems? Or you think you can do it quite well with minor mistakes? Or you need to practice more? Check the one that you think you are in. Number 2, express regret. If you want, we have studied in the previous lesson, and also we revised in this lesson, the imaginary situation when we use the F clause in imaginary situation to talk about something that didn't happen in the past. We said that we use it to express regret. Do you think you can express your regret regarding something in the past and put yourself wherever you think you are? Number 3, express understanding. When you understand something. Okay, using where and when in adjective clause. And using whose in adjective clause. And use conditional sentence with F clause in the past time, not in the present. In the past time, we said that we use the past perfect or the verbs in past perfect in the F clause and so on. And we use it, or we use this way of expressions to talk about something in the past to show our regrets or criticism. And after that, we have studied as if or as though, and we said that we use as if or as though to criticize someone. Do you think that you can use as if or as though properly? If you can do this very well, then you are here. Or in the other parts. Use a range of inversions. Inversions is the last thing we have studied. So where do you think you put yourself in the middle or in the front? Talk about historical monuments. We've had a list of words that are related or mostly used with the historical monuments. After that, my 5 favorite new words from Unit 6. In Unit 6, we've had listen and discuss. We've also had an essay. We also had a conversation lesson, listening. Also, we've had a vocabulary building lesson. So we went through a lot of lessons where we ran into new words. So I'm pretty sure that you have a group or a list of words that maybe you find them beneficial, that you can use in your daily life or in your areas of interest. So I want you right now to write a list of 5 words that you like the most. If you are not sure about these words, you can read through the unit again. Go back to the start of the unit or to the beginning of the unit and then start reading again. Listen to the audio materials, study the grammar and functions, ask your teacher for help if you're still not sure about that. But make sure to list the 5 words that you like the most here. Thank you all for attending our lesson today, and I wish you enjoy the rest of the day. Assalamu alaikum.